There's a certain type of content creator that has perfected the art of turning chaos into currency. They've figured out that the algorithm doesn't really care about quality or consequences, it just cares about engagement, and few people have weaponized this formula quite like Jack Doherty. The 22-year-old YouTuber with over 15 million subscribers has built an entire career on the foundation of doing things you're not supposed to do in places you're not supposed to do them and filming the inevitable fallout. And this past weekend, that formula led him directly into handcuffs. Early Saturday morning, November 15th, around 3:12 a.m. in Miami Beach's entertainment district, Jack Doherty was arrested. But the circumstances of his arrest are almost perfectly on brand for him, which is either impressive or deeply concerning depending on your perspective. According to Miami Beach police, Doherty was with a group of people who entered the roadway on Washington Avenue. But Doherty separated from the group and positioned himself in the middle of the street, blocking active traffic lanes. He wasn't having a medical emergency. He wasn't helping anyone. He was filming content for a bet, apparently. Now, when police officers arrived and ordered him to get out of the road multiple times, Doherty's response was pretty telling. He said, and I quote, "Once I'm done with this bet, not sorry officer, my mistake, not oh I didn't realize I was causing a problem." Just a casual acknowledgement that yeah, he knew exactly what he was doing and he'd move when he was good and ready. Which is a fascinating approach to law enforcement, but not necessarily a successful one. So police arrested him right there in the middle of the road, and during the subsequent search, things got more interesting. Officers found half of an orange pill marked with the number 3, which turned out to be a Schedule II amphetamine. They also found 3 hand-rolled marijuana cigarettes weighing about 4 grams combined. So what started as a traffic obstruction charge quickly escalated into 1 felony charge for possession of a controlled substance and 2 misdemeanor charges for possession of marijuana and resisting an officer without violence. Doherty was booked at the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center and his bond was set at $3,500, which he posted later that evening. He walked out of jail Saturday night, smiled for the cameras, and presumably went right back to doing whatever it is he does. And here's the thing, this arrest isn't shocking, it's not even surprising, it's almost inevitable when you look at the trajectory of his content and his career. Jack Doherty started his YouTube channel back in 2016 when he was just 12 years old. His first viral video was literally just him flipping a marker twice in a row. Simple, harmless, kind of wholesome actually, but that's not what built his empire. What built his empire was a rapid escalation into prank content, disruption content, and what I would describe as professional antagonism. His videos have titles like Flora's Lava Challenge at Walmart, where he and his friends would jump on store displays and merchandise, inevitably getting kicked out. He's been banned from Walmart stores across the country. He's made a career out of getting kicked out of places. In 2020, he appeared on Dr. Phil after repeatedly harassing his neighbor with his dirt bike. And when Dr. Phil called him out for being a bully, Doherty was completely unfazed. He even implied he could have done worse. When his neighbor came on the show to share her side, Doherty quipped that he could have posted her face on the internet. Dr. Phil actually ended the segment early because Doherty was so uncooperative. And after the show, Doherty posted a video saying he only brought his neighbor an apology gift to troll Dr. Phil, not because he actually wanted to apologize, which is honesty, I suppose, but not the kind that suggests any real self-reflection. The pattern continued when he moved to Beverly Hills. He filmed confrontations with his neighbors there too. His landlord's son asked him to take down videos filmed without consent or face eviction. Doherty not only kept the videos up, he posted the footage of that conversation too. So he got evicted, and throughout all of this, his channel kept growing millions of subscribers, billions of views, because the algorithm rewards conflict. It rewards disruption. It doesn't care if you're a decent person, it cares if people are watching. But things started getting darker. In October 2024, Doherty was live streaming while driving his McLaren 570S in the rain on Florida's Turnpike. He was reading his chat while driving, not glancing at it, reading it, engaging with it, and he hydroplaned and crashed. The car was totaled. His cameraman Michael was injured badly enough to need stitches for a head wound, and Doherty's primary concern during the immediate aftermath wasn't Michael's well-being, it was the content. The stream stayed on. The cameras kept rolling. He got cited by Florida Highway Patrol for using a wireless communication device while driving, and the streaming platform Kick banned him, though they later unbanned him, then banned him again after another incident. This is who Jack Doherty is. Someone who has learned that consequences are temporary, but content is forever. He's been involved in altercations at influencer parties. His bodyguard was accused of assault. He's been in physical confrontations with other streamers. He even broke his collarbone doing a failed bike stunt earlier this year, and through it all, the content kept coming, the views kept climbing, and the behavior kept escalating. So when you look at this arrest in Miami Beach, it's not an aberration, it's the logical conclusion of a content strategy that treats laws and social norms as obstacles to engagement rather than, things that exist for reasons. Standing in the middle of traffic at 3 a.m. to film content isn't an accident. It's not a lapse in judgment. content. It's a calculated decision that the potential content is worth the potential consequences. And here's what makes this particularly frustrating. Miami Beach Commissioner Joe Magazine didn't mince words about the arrest. He called Doherty a punk and a professional antagonizer, saying Miami Beach doesn't have room for that type of nonsense, which is a pretty direct statement from a public official. And the Miami Beach Police Department released a statement saying they remain committed to maintaining public safety regardless of celebrity status, and that they'll hold all individuals accountable under the law, which sounds good in a press release. But here's the reality. Doherty posted $3,500 in bond and walked out of jail the same day. He'll probably face minimal actual consequences, maybe some community service, maybe a fine, maybe probation, and in the meantime, his arrest has generated massive attention, articles on every major news outlet, trending on social media, his name in headlines everywhere, which is exactly what his content strategy thrives on. Negative attention is still attention, controversy is still engagement. The algorithm doesn't distinguish between people watching because they support you and people watching because they can't look away from the disaster. And this creates a pretty perverse incentive structure for young creators. If you're 15 years old and you see Jack Doherty with 15 million subscribers living in Miami, driving luxury cars, and facing minimal consequences for increasingly reckless behavior, what lesson are you learning? You're learning that disruption pays, that antagonism is profitable, that the line between content and crime is just another boundary to push for views. The arrest itself almost feels like content. There's body cam footage of Doherty being searched, worried about his watch, asking officers if they can give it to his friend. His own crew was filming the arrest on their phones until police told them to step back. Even getting arrested became content. Even jail became content. He posted about it immediately. His team posted about it. It all feeds back into the machine. And look, I'm not saying Jack Doherty is uniquely terrible. He's not the only creator doing this type of content. The internet is full of people who have discovered that being obnoxious in public spaces generates views, but he's a pretty perfect case study in how this type of content creation evolves and escalates. You start with flipping markers, you move to disrupting stores, then it's harassing neighbors, then it's dangerous driving, then it's obstructing traffic. Each step needs to be a little more extreme than the last to maintain the engagement. The audience gets desensitized. What was shocking last year is boring this year, so you have to keep pushing, and the platforms don't really have an incentive to stop it until it becomes a PR problem. YouTube doesn't care if you're getting kicked out of Walmart's as long as you're not violating their terms of service in a way that threatens their ad revenue. Kick unbanned him after the car crash. They only banned him again after another incident. The message is clear. You can do pretty much whatever you want as long as it's not bad enough to make advertisers nervous. So the question becomes, where does it end? At what point does the escalation hit a wall? Because Jack Doherty has been escalating for 8 years now. He's gone from a 12-year-old flipping markers to a 22-year-old getting arrested for obstructing traffic while in possession of controlled substances, and he's facing a felony charge. That's not nothing. But I'd bet money that 6 months from now, he's still making videos, still generating millions of views, still finding new boundaries to push, because that's what works. That's what the system rewards. There's also something worth noting about the Miami Beach police statement. They said they'd hold all individuals accountable regardless of celebrity status, which is the right thing to say. But we've seen how this plays out with influencers. They get arrested, they post bond immediately, they turn it into content, they face minimal consequences, and they go right back to doing what they were doing. The justice system isn't really equipped to handle people whose entire business model is turning negative attention into profit. And Doherty's audience will probably defend him. They always do. They'll say he was just making content, that the police overreacted, that it's not a big deal, that everybody makes mistakes. And sure, everybody does make mistakes, but there's a difference between a mistake and a pattern. Between an accident and a strategy, Doherty wasn't accidentally in the middle of traffic. He deliberately went into the middle of traffic while his friends filmed. For content, that's not a mistake. That's a choice. The amphetamine charge adds another layer. Now, amphetamine is used to treat ADHD and narcolepsy. It's a legitimate medication, but it's also a controlled substance. And if you're in possession of it without a prescription, that's a felony. We don't know if Doherty has a prescription. Maybe he does. Maybe this gets resolved easily. But combined with the marijuana possession and the resisting arrest charge, it paints a picture of someone who maybe isn't making the best decisions at 3 a.m. in Miami Beach. What's frustrating is that Doherty clearly has an audience. 15 million people have subscribed to his channel. Millions more follow him on other platforms. He has influence. He has reach. He could be using that platform for literally anything else. But instead, it's this. It's standing in traffic. It's getting arrested. It's turning every aspect of life into content, including the parts that maybe shouldn't be content. content. And I think that's the broader issue here. We've created a system where everything is content, where there's no separation between life and performance, where getting arrested isn't a consequence that makes you reevaluate your choices. It's just another video, another post, another opportunity for engagement. And young creators are watching and learning that this is the path, that this is how you succeed, not by being talented or creative or offering something of value, just by being willing to push further than the next person, to be more disruptive, more chaotic, more willing to cross lines. Jack Doherty isn't the disease, he's a symptom. He's what happens when platforms optimize for engagement above everything else, when consequences are temporary but content is forever, when the metric that matters is views, not impact. And until that changes, we're going to keep seeing this pattern repeat. Different creators, same playbook, escalation until something breaks. The Miami Beach arrest is probably not going to be a turning point for Doherty. It's probably just going to be another chapter, another story arc, another piece of content in the endless feed. He'll face whatever consequences the court decides. He'll probably film some kind of response video. Life will go on. The views will keep coming, and somewhere a 13-year-old with a camera is watching and thinking that looks like a pretty good deal. That's about it. See ya.